Welcome to the Soul Gym. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Jody.
Hey, and we are so glad you're a part. Today's episode is going to be amazing. So here we are at the end of 2021, and it just seems to be this natural point to look ahead, to look to the new year and want to change something. That's why people set their New Year's resolutions, because a resolution is about wanting something to change. And I think that's just innately in us. I think it's in our DNA that we look around and we want to get better. We see something that needs to get better. Well, we're going to talk about, is it a resolution that you need, or is it a revolution? See, a revolution is about changing our thinking. And so today, instead of resolution, I think it's time for a revolution. Jody, what do you think? Woo! Hey, so is it a resolution or a revolution? That's what we're talking about. We're saying that resolutions don't necessarily work. Jody and I are all about goal setting. We are all about the future. We are all about, changing our thinking. And I think that's what's so cool is that resolutions, according to Dr. Leaf, and you guys know we follow Dr. Leaf all the time, resolutions, they don't work because we decide, okay, we want to lose weight. We want to, finally meet the right person. So we're going to go after the right person. We're going to get our money under control, whatever it is. And we meet it at the time. And so what happens is all these chemicals just start to flood our body. We're going to the gym. We're losing 40 pounds. Monday comes. We put our shoes on. We head to the gym. And according to Dr. Leaf, about 4 or 5 days later is when most people, their resolutions tank, because those chemicals that have just had you, just going for it have now subsided. And so we feel like we lose motivation. We don't want to do it. And so that's why we're here to say it's more of a revolution. And no lie, when you look up the definition, it's either talking about an overthrow of the government. That's not what we're talking about.
Are we?
Well, if you've heard some of our last podcast.
Let's go, Brandon.
But what we're talking about is that one of the definitions is a dramatic change in thinking. And that we truly believe that change, lasting change, comes from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so we're not trying to overthrow the government. We are just, as always, challenging our thinking. That is what the Soul Gym is all about. We train our thinking and we transform our lives.
Yep.
And so we're going to go resolution or revolution. And so isn't it true that everybody says they want to change?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to change, but isn't there just a really big gap between what people want and what they actually do?
Mm-hmm.
You can say all day long, I want to lose weight. I want to get married. I want success, whatever it is. But what are we actually doing?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we will always go back to thoughts and thinking. What we have thought about, and our thoughts kind of team up with our emotions, and they create our beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
These ideas we hold to be true, even though they may not be true. And so then these beliefs create our identity. And Jody, we talk about identity all the time, that internal picture. And from that internal picture, we respond. Yep. Our behaviors.
Let me read what Lou Tice says, how that internal picture is developed, because I think sometimes you might go, well, internal picture, what are you talking about? Change myself on the inside. What is that? He says, it's your subconscious. It's what you automatically believe about yourself.
Right.
Your subconscious is like a blank canvas at conception. With every life experience, you dab a little paint on that canvas.
I love that.
You paint your own picture of the truth about yourself, the real you. Every artist paints his or her own version. Like fingerprints, no two are alike. Once you dab on attitudes and opinions about yourself and the world, no matter how detrimental they are, you're stuck with them until you decide consciously to repaint the picture.
That is such a cool way of looking at it. It's such a great visual. And so that canvas, that identity, it's saying that we behave. And so what we're talking about are our habits. Our thoughts solidify, into beliefs, into identity, and they become our habits. Most of them, like you just said, in our subconscious. Our subconscious is running what? 70, 80, 90% of our day. I mean, when you first learned to brush your teeth, you had to think about it. I mean, you had to think. It was awkward. We talk about training people at the gym. When you're when you're first training people, and let's say you're doing a bench press, one arm is off and you're all wonky. You have to think about it. But the more you do something, and the more you do something, habits are just decisions repeated over and over and over and over until they find their way into our subconscious. Here's the thing. Habits, as we know, can be healthy or they can be quite harmful. So you're putting on my seatbelt. I don't even think about it. I just get in my car, seatbelts on, healthy habit. Or what about the person who wakes up in the morning and grabs a cup of coffee and a cigarette? Don't even think about it. They've done it for so long, but not necessarily the healthiest habit. And so that's what we're talking about, are these habits. But I love this quote. Much of what we're talking about, we will always reference Dr. Leaf. And then I read the book. We've talked about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And so this whole book is about habits. But here's his quote. True behavior change is identity change. You might start a habit because of motivation, but the only reason you'll stick with one is that it becomes a part of your identity.
It's who you are.
That's right. It is who you are. And every choice we make is a vote for our identity, who we want to be. And so that's why, we're challenging ourselves in every podcast, every day. Who am I? Who do I want to be? We're talking about how life, Jody, we were saying how life can just numb people. They might be watching this, episode or listening to this episode, and they're just kind of like in a daze. Life is beat them up.
Yeah, life just has a way. We get into routines, from the time we're young. We get up, we get dressed, we go to school, we do our homework, we have a routine, and without really even realizing, years have gone by and we haven't really done anything meaningful with our lives. And that's the dangerous part, is you get into this routine and things become normal. And what I have done is I look at my life at the end of the year and go, what changed from last year? Am I any different? So tomorrow is December 31st. Look back at your life and go, where has my life improved? did I achieve the things that I said I wanted to last year? Have I gotten better financially? Have I gotten better physically? Have I gotten closer to God? And if we can't answer yes, you're in that loop of
Yeah.
just going to work, coming home, taking care of kids, rather than going, what is it do I really want out of life? You know what? Now, some people go, I don't really mind it like this. I'm good. But we're talking to people who are not satisfied
Yeah.
with status quo, who are tired of living the same way year after year after year, and they want a better version of themselves.
Yeah. Talk about being on autopilot.
Yeah.
Talk about the habits in their life. And everything is a habit. Like we
Yeah.
said, from brushing your teeth to how you answer the phone, to everything. Everything was thought of, emotionalized. It has become a part of that daily routine. And if you don't challenge your life and your habits, that's it, Jody. It's the same thing. That's why you can look back at last year, 4 years ago, and go, nothing has changed. And that's most people.
Yeah.
They're just living on autopilot. Those
Mhm.
habits, you're just walking through life, and year after year after year passes. And that's not what I want.
Me neither.
And I can look back at some things and go, you know what? It is exactly the same as it was 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And I mean, you need to become conscious of that. So yeah, Jody, deciding what you want. How do you start to, infuse new good habits into your life and start to get rid of some of the harmful, unproductive, negative habits in your life? And we always say, pick one. I think we can just, especially, we're talking about revolutionizing your thinking. When we're talking about revolutionizing our thinking, we really mean something a bit different, and that is get 1% better. Start small. Once again, James Clear says that when you're making plans, and you're casting vision, think big. But when you want progress, you got to think small.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about getting 1% better. There is such an accumulation effect that
Mm-hmm.
we just sometimes we just don't have the patience,
Mm-hmm.
to see something happen. 1%, 1%, 1%. I mean, time is definitely your friend when you are building a healthy habit. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you start something today and you just get 1% better every single day, guess what? In a year, in 2 weeks, it's probably going to look the same. But all of a sudden, it begins to accumulate. But the same is true for an unhealthy habit. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if we're doing something unhealthy, in a couple of weeks, we might not see it, but time is your enemy
Mm-hmm.
when you are doing something unhealthy. It's accumulating as well. And
You
so,
know, when something is really foreign to you, I mean, you're really bad at it. I know a lot of people, there are certain things I want physically. Well, yeah, I have been going to the gym for a very, very long time, so I don't need baby steps.
yeah.
Some things you're just better at. Some people are great at money, and they just want to make this much more. I think the baby steps are when you just stink at something. And there are certain things that I just really stink at. And, taking care of some things around my house. And so a while ago, I had my boys covered in gloves and hats and
I love this.
rip out these branches off the back of in the back of the yard off these trees. I mean, they're dangerous. We
I
had a
know
boy stay with us.
those spikes on them. Yeah.
Yes, we had a boy stay with us about, oh, 15 years ago, and he stuck his wrist into one and had to be taken to the hospital. That's how dangerous they are. So I carefully had one of my boys rip all of them out, and there were a ton dying from the heat in Las Vegas, and he made two huge piles of them in the backyard. First off, they're an eyesore. They're just awful. And I've broken a few and tried to throw them away. And I mean, I've gotten stuck. I stepped on one and one went through my foot. So doing it real quick and having all of us, it is dangerous. So I sat there, just what Crystal's talking about. I went, how am I going to do this? Overwhelmed. And I went, one branch at a time. And there's hundreds back there. I'm going to take one branch, take it to my garage, dump it in the garbage can, where my kids go, what are you doing? They'll see me with this huge branch every day, taking one to the garbage can. And I mean, I think it's been maybe 2 months, and I've watched it just shrink and shrink and shrink. And I went, I love to just, go like a mad dog. And some things I can.
Yeah.
I love to just hit it hard. But when I'm really bad at something, I'm doing what Crystal said, just show up.
Well, that's it. When we're talking about habits, we said, decide what you want. You're looking at your life right now. I mean, shake yourself, out of the cobwebs and come back to life here, and start small. Pick something, start small, get 1% better. And then, and as you master the art of showing up. I mean, that's exactly what you have done.
The guy at the gym.
Yeah, so I'm listening to Ed Milet interview James Clear from Atomic Habits, and he's talking about getting 1% better, and then he's talking about mastering the art of showing up. And he gives the story of this guy who lost 120 pounds. That's what he needed to lose. And so James Clear says you can't get better at a habit when you've never even established the habit. We're like, I've never gone to the gym. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And then we wonder why it doesn't work. So this guy for a long time, and sorry, I don't recall, but it was a while. This guy went to the gym for 5 minutes. That was it. After 5 minutes, he left. He went to the gym the next day for 5 minutes and then left. 5 minutes and then left for however long. But he almost tricked his brain into believing he was a guy who goes to the gym. And so he ended up losing his 120 pounds, according to the story, has kept it off. Talk about mastering the art of just showing up. Just being there. And so he got 1% better. And so instead of the 5 minutes, he started to stay a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. And he lost the weight. I just find that so fascinating.
So take those things that overwhelm you, that have just plagued you for years. And we've all got them. That one thing where, I have said I cannot stand cleaning the house. And I've just never liked it. My mom was fabulous at it. And obviously it didn't pass on to me. So, and one of my least favorite is the dishes. I hand wash my dishes. And so with all these kids, I will just have stacks and stacks and stacks of dishes. And rather than leaving them, for the day, I've been applying this. So I'll fill the sink with dishes, or I did, and I'd put them in there, and I'd wash just as many as I wanted to, and I'd walk away and go do something else. And I know a lot of people, how irresponsible, just get them done. That's how we can think. If you're really good at that, just do it. Well, that overwhelmed me, you know,
Mhm.
and it made me feel bad that I just couldn't conquer a sink full of dirty dishes. So I went a little bit at a time.
Love
And
it.
now I'm a master at get it. Now I'm not because I slowly just took a few, got it done. I faced it going, okay, I don't want to do this. This is so irritating, gross to me. And so after every day of just doing a few, doing a few, walking away, coming, now I'm going, and then I'd go a little bit more,
Yep.
just finish a little bit more. So I'd get probably half of them done. And then I'd walk away and go do something else and come back. Now, I know it may sound so foolish to you super clean, people out there, but for me, that was very challenging. And now after, I don't know how long, a few months, I have no problem getting a sink full of dishes done.
That is such a practical example, two practical examples
Uh-huh.
of taking something small. I mean, something small in the fact that it's not a you know cancer diagnosed. I mean,
Mhm,
it's something branches, but it seemed
mhm,
overwhelming.
mhm,
Dishes, and it seemed overwhelming. But to apply the small, get 1% better, which is your 1% in theory with the dishes is a couple.
mhm.
Walk away, do a few more. I mean, that is the same application of getting 1% better and
Yeah.
getting and just biting those small chunks out of it. And it
Mhm,
really is, it's changing your thinking. It's
mhm,
revolutionizing. First of all, you said, who said you have to do all the dishes at the same time? Who said
mhm.
that was a rule?
Yeah,
Why is that a rule?
yeah,
I can do dishes any way I want.
that's right.
So you're mastering the habit of showing up.
Well, what helped was Terry Foy Seville
Okay.
when she was talking about decluttering her
Yes,
house.
yes, yes.
She would take only one room at a time and just start with a drawer, and just
Yeah,
clean out that drawer. And I went, see, I can do that. What's my
yeah.
thing? The kitchen. And so, yeah, for those of you who are everyone knows the feeling of being overwhelmed.
Hmm.
I know the gym and fitness is overwhelming to so many people. And look at what that guy did.
I
Five
know.
minutes just
5 minutes.
showing up at the
Yep.
gym. And people who are overwhelmed financially, I know they're just swimming in debt. Here's the first step. Look at it. Most people who have so much debt they cannot even see straight, ignore. See, what we do is we ignore those overwhelming things, those things that you can't even imagine mastering. What
Yeah.
you got to do first step is not pay everything off. I'm just going to pay it. No, what you got to do, I just told a person this the other day. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I said, as much as you don't want to do it, write it down and just look at it. Just sit and look
Oh,
and go, okay, this is what we're doing. Do you have to do anything about it? Absolutely not. But you faced it. Maybe your first step is facing it. Maybe your first step is taking off your clothes and looking at yourself naked in the mirror, going, is this the body? We all have something different. That means I'm going to face it. But looking in the mirror going, I can't believe what I've done to myself physically. But if you don't face it, you're never going to start.
oh man, ouch. Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
Oh man. Whew. Oh, I'm kind of going through our points here. Again, we when it's so interesting when we're talking about revolutionizing our thinking. that sounds like such a dramatic big word, and it is talking about a dramatic shift in thinking. But that
Mhm.
dramatic shift in thinking is, if you can take anything away, it's just 1%. Just what are you better today than you were yesterday?
Mhm.
And just a little tiny bit better. That's what that is a revolutionized way of thinking, is to throw these giant, I'm gonna lose 100. No, you know what? I'm gonna lose a pound. I'm gonna lose one pound. And so that's what we're talking about, is that kind of revolutionized thinking. I mean, lasting change comes from the inside out. We're always going to talk about that. We are just absolutely so honored that you take the time to listen to our podcast or watch these videos. We are here to encourage you. We believe that you can change any negative habit, any negative way of thinking when you begin to apply these principles. Jody, I love the idea of the branches and the dishes. Pick whatever it is in your life that feels a little overwhelming. You know it's got to change. We all have something. And you begin to decide, show up every day, and just 1% better. And
Mhm.
so again, we love you guys. We are excited about the upcoming year. Jody and I've got some great plans and some great ideas going forward. Um, Again, check out our website, soulgymsisters.com. Go to it, subscribe to it. We would love to send you, releases and episodes and things that we're creating. We would love you to be on the list so that you can get that. Um,
Our curriculum.
yes. Oh, Jody and I have created the Soul Gym, and we just think it is life changing. We really do. It's only about 18 episodes, but they're short. They're bite-sized, yummy chunks, and it's got some goals, templates, and stuff to envision, and we just think it is, again, a life changing. So thesoulgym.teachable.com. I will have the links and everything in the show notes. And so click on that. Talk about breaking thinking habits. That's what the
Mhm.
Soul Gym is all about. And so again, we appreciate you being a part. Hey, reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Otherwise, we will catch you in 2022. We'll see you
Woo!
next week at the Soul Gym. Bye.
Bye.